Morning, Kingdom Kids. We are so glad to be with you this morning. I hope you've had a really great week. I was going to ask you what your favorite thing you ate this week was, and it looks like we've got snacks as we talk with you.
Here's the deal.
What
Pastor
is
Sean,
this?
well, you've seen Pastor Sean and Brendan up here, and they always have their cups of coffee. And I thought, you know what? Since we're doing the Kingdom Kids, I didn't want anybody to forget the delicious snacks that we have. So cheers. You got to cheers first. Cheers.
Sorry.
There.
I don't know if I've ever had one of these.
You've never had one? These are delicious.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
You don't sample the product before we put it out?
No, not usually.
Oh,
Do you
my
guys have a
goodness.
favorite flavor?
I personally apologize for the lack of quality that has gone into Kingdom Kids thus far.
I was saying earlier when Mr. Jamie got these out, I think Very Berry is the popular one, the purple box. So we'll have to take a vote when everybody comes back, right? See which one's the best. Are you drinking all of that?
No.
Oh, Mr. Jamie likes them. Well, I hope you've had a really great week. You've had some fun foods. We were talking about how we made candy bacon this week.
We did. We took bacon and then we covered it with brown sugar and maple syrup and cooked it again and then kept doing it over and over and over again.
It was so good.
It was like bacon caramel. Yeah. It was delicious.
So tell us, what was your favorite food this week? Hopefully something delicious.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to jump in to the book of Exodus again.
Okay, so we're back with Moses and the Israelites.
We are.
Okay, good
and
stuff.
And we have been talking about the tabernacle, which is God's house that they have been working on building. And it has to be able to move from place to place because the Israelites are on their way to the promised land with Moses. So it can't just be this church that they build and it stays there. They have to be able to pack it up, put it on their animals, their backs, and travel to their next location.
Man, and you guys think getting ready for overnights are a lot of work. Imagine if you had to pack up an entire church.
Yes.
Woo. Do you think Mr. Matt would like that? I think we should ask him again if we could do that.
I know. I don't think he would be a fan.
You don't think he'd be a fan?
Yeah, it's hard to move everything.
Put all this in a big suitcase?
Yeah.
No? Yeah, okay.
Well, we thought it would be interesting to talk with you guys about what went inside the tabernacle. Because it is not like our churches today. They didn't have juice boxes and goldfish that they took with them.
What?
I know.
Oh,
and
I'm done.
I know. They didn't have a coffee station and bulletins and I'm trying to think, communion cups and all our chairs and all our microphones, the lights, all that kind of stuff. All of it was totally different for them. Can you hear that? He's slurping, guys. Gross. Okay. So they had to take these things that we're going to talk about today with them. And what is so cool about the Old Testament is the things that we're going to be learning about in the Old Testament is going to connect to Jesus in the New Testament. The Bible works together as a whole. It's a picture of what Jesus did for us by dying on the cross. So many pieces of the tabernacle connect to Jesus.
That's really cool because if you think about it, when Jesus was here on earth, he taught in parables.
Right.
And we kind of, when we talk about it, everybody sort of thinks, oh, Jesus, the parables were his idea. Those are really cool. But if you look even back in the Old Testament, even all the way back to the beginning in Genesis, things that God was doing that were like living, breathing parables to point people back to Jesus.
Right, like a picture of what was going to happen, right?
That's pretty cool.
So we have a little chart today that Mr. Jamie is going to hold for you, and they have little pockets. And so for each one of the things that was in the tabernacle, we have a little item that Mr. Jamie will show you, and then we'll put it inside of each one of these to kind of symbolize it. And a lot of these things you might have at home. So you might be able to gather some of these things yourself and read about the tabernacle with your mom and dad and talk about how each of those things symbolize something to do with Jesus. Okay? So I'm going to give this to you.
Got it. Yep. Okay.
All right.
My little sheet.
All right, and we've got your symbols, and he'll show them to you because they're kind of cool.
They are pretty cool.
Really basic, but they connect right in. Okay?
All right, take us in.
After 2 years of work, the tabernacle was finished. All around, it was an uncovered space called a court. So there's the tent part and then a courtyard with a gate fence thing all the way around it. Kind of picture it in your head.
Got it.
All right.
I got it.
Fine linen curtains, about 7 or 8 feet long, made the outside wall of the court. Near the door of the court was a great altar called the altar of burnt offering.
Okay, all right, so you got a little bit ahead of me there.
Oh, I did.
So the tabernacle itself, there's, like we talked about, this is kind of our little opener. There are a lot of things in the tabernacle that were symbols of Jesus.
Jesus, right.
So we got our first thing was the cross. Yep, yeah. So we talked about that. I was not on the ball.
That's okay.
So complex.
Put our cross in there.
Yep, okay, it's slippery. There we go. All right, first one's done. All right,
now,
and then we talked about the altar burnt offerings. All right, so burnt offerings aren't really a thing we do anymore, though,
well, we don't have to do them anymore because Jesus was our sacrifice. When he died on the cross, that meant that we never had to offer any kind of burnt offering to him again. And so they had to do that back then. They had to sacrifice animals, and sometimes they would do grain offerings or different things like that that they could present to Jesus as a way of saying they were sorry. Or yeah, to God, because Jesus hadn't come yet, as a way to say they were sorry and as a way to thank him, as a way to just present to him, okay? So to worship God, the people built altars of earth or stone. On them, they laid their gifts and sacrifices to be burned, okay? So our little symbol here, guys, you can see is a matchstick, right? Because you need some way to light the fire, right? So maybe think of a lighter.
Do you think they had matchsticks?
I don't know. I'm not sure how they started the fires.
I bet they used big magnifying glasses.
Oh, you think they had those?
Or blowtorches.
Wow. Probably not. Probably not.
Okay, all right.
All right. The altar of the tabernacle was different. It was a brass-covered box without a bottom or top. Inside, a metal grate was fastened. Here, the fire was kindled. The altar was about 5 feet high and 7 feet square. On the sides were 2 long poles. Whenever they moved, 4 guys would take each of those 4 poles and they would carry it. So that was a 4-man job just to
Could you
move that
imagine
around.
being the guy who had to carry the big metal box through the desert?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes, that would have been the tough job to have.
Yeah, that would not have been fun. On sand.
Yes.
Big metal box that takes 4 guys to carry on sand.
Totally.
Oh.
Yes. You don't want to sign up for that one.
Nope. No. Can I have a different duty?
All right, well, okay, here we have our next one.
Okay.
Near the altar was a large basin. It was filled with water for the priests to wash their hands and feet. And I think this is a great one to represent how we've
got our soap.
Yes, we have soap, yes. How Jesus washes us, right? He washes our sins. And so this was a picture of how the priests, like the pastors, the guys in charge of the church, had to wash their hands as part of the sacrifices, part of things they had to do there in charge. And what a beautiful picture that is of how Jesus has washed us from our sins.
He washed the disciples' feet. He washed our sins away. There's a lot of washing that ties back to
so the soap's perfect.
The tabernacle. Yeah,
yes.
Great example.
All right.
All right.
Farther inside the court stood the tabernacle itself. The walls were made of boards covered with gold. Remember all the gold we talked about? And silver on the bases, okay? The roof was made of curtains, one laid above the other. And we talked about how there was animal skins, different cloths they used, right?
A lot of sewing.
A lot of sewing, right. And so our next one we're going to use here is going to show linen and special threads.
And you actually put a needle in here. I feel like you were trying to get me to stab myself.
Well, I just wanted to hook it all together there. Okay,
right,
so if you can show that to the kids.
Yes, gonna keep
all the
needle.
threads. They had a lot of different cloth that they used, and there was one veil in particular that hung, and it separated the 2 parts of the tabernacle.
So wait, why was that? Why did they keep things separate?
Well, the one part was called the Holy of Holies, and only if you were the priest were you allowed to go back in there. It was like the most sacred, special place, right?
What was special about it?
Well, it was where you would go to meet with God. So just your average person couldn't talk to God that closely, but we can, which is amazing.
Wow.
When Jesus died on the cross, that veil that kind of separated those 2 spots, it ripped right in half.
Wow.
Yes. But during this time, this is before Jesus came, that veil was really important because it separated it and kind of kept you separate from being able to be that close to Jesus or God. Right. Jesus hasn't come yet. I keep switching
See, I know. Well, it's because you've got all these parallels.
Right.
Because we're talking about Jesus because we were, in a sense, like we talked about, God is helping people already start thinking about what Jesus is going to do.
Yes. Now, in the holy place, there were 3 pieces of furniture. A little snack. Actually, that ties in really well.
I was setting you up.
Well, the next one, there was a special table, and on it were 12
Goldfish.
12 loaves of bread.
Oh.
Okay? So we have a little picture of our loaves of bread.
Oh.
Or goldfish, I guess, right?
I'm going to put a goldfish in there.
Oh, goldfish in there. Okay.
Definitely.
And these represented all the tribes, all the people of Israel. Okay? And also, if you think about bread, this is often talked about in the Bible, how Jesus tells us that he is the bread of life, how he gives us everything we need. He's the one that we should hunger after.
When he did the first communion with the disciples, he used
bread. Bread, yep.
So many parallels.
Yep, absolutely. The next thing is the golden candlestick held 7 burning lights. This reminds me of a song we sing in the castle a lot, This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it shine.
So I'm guessing they were out of gold because we went with green.
We have a gold one, or I mean a green one.
Yeah. Okay. So our green candlestick.
But that'll work, right?
But again, think about all the different Bible verses. Jesus says, I'm the light of the world.
Right.
Oh, so many different parallels. And again, God's using a building, and it was very functional and practical at the time. But again, all of that's pointing us to Jesus.
Right, absolutely. All right, and then the last thing that is in the, those 3 pieces of furniture, that are in the holy place, the last one is the altar of incense, because sweet perfumes were burned there. The fire was lighted from the altar of burnt offering. Everything in this room was made of gold. Okay, so this one
so what have we got here? Help me out with this.
Pieces.
Ooh, those are very smelly.
Very smelly.
They're very smelly.
Strong, right?
So I'm going to hold them out here because they are super smelly.
But that was a way they could present something sweet smelling to the Lord, okay?
Because again, you think about it, there were how many people out in the desert? So they were walking around a lot in the sand.
Yeah.
Probably not taking a lot of showers.
It's very true.
So I'm thinking if you really wanted to honor God, sweet-smelling incense would have been the way to go. Because I can only imagine how stinky that camp might have been from time to time.
All right, so now we get to the Holy of Holies, right? Remember we talked about that veil?
Yep, so we're in the behind the veil part.
We're behind the veil, where nobody really got to go,
right.
Okay? And this is where the Ark of the Covenant was, okay? And this was a very special box that had symbols in it that meant a lot to the children of Israel, okay? And on top of the box, there were 2 cherubim, which are angels. So our symbol for this one, for angels, we thought we would use
I'm guessing this is supposed to be a golden feather.
Yes.
Got it.
Because they were gold, because everything was gold, right?
Right.
And they were over the top of the box, so you can slide that one in. That was called the mercy seat. And then inside are 3 things. We have a golden vessel that had manna in it. Do you guys remember what manna was? Hopefully. We were learning about manna way back when we were still here, right?
Yeah.
The Castle kids, we even had some manna rain down from heaven, right?
Wow, I wasn't there for that
I
week.
know, that was how God provided food for the children of Israel.
Nice.
And
so
then
we can't use goldfish for this one again?
No, probably not.
Oh, okay.
We need that golden.
All
so
right,
that's a little shiny.
All right, it is shinier than goldfish.
Then we have Aaron's rod that was flowering. Okay, that's something we haven't learned too much about yet, but we will. That was another special symbol for them.
Okay, I am looking forward to learning about that.
Yep, sign of God's presence with them.
Okay.
And then you probably can guess that last one because we've learned about it a lot recently.
I'm guessing that these are supposed to be scraps of Moses' cloak.
No, what's the shape of it? Come on, guys, do you see what the shape of it is?
What is the shape of it? It is the shape of bunny teeth.
No.
No. It's the shape of a dinosaur.
You're saying 10 Commandments, right?
They're saying 10 Commandments?
They're totally saying 10 Commandments.
I'm glad. They're way smarter than I am.
Okay. The 10 Commandments.
Oh, I see it now. Yes. They're just, got it. Okay.
Yes, they definitely went in the Ark of the Covenant.
Got it. Okay. They are in there.
All right. Look at that. Let's hold that up and take a look at all of it. That looks so good. These are all our symbols of what was in the tabernacle. Now, when the tabernacle was set up in the middle of the camp, God moved the cloud above it and filled it with his glory.
Whoa.
I know. So you could go in, and that was where God's presence was, which is amazing. And the best part is, though, we don't have to go to a tabernacle. We don't even have to go into a church building if we want to be in the presence of God. We can talk to him
pretty amazing.
Anytime we want. You can be outside playing. You can be in your room. You can be in the car. You can be where God is no matter what. He's with us. He's in us, and he's around us, and he's everywhere. And the children of Israel, they had to go to a lot of work to carry their tent around and to have all these special pieces, and they're great symbols, and I'm so thankful we don't have to have all those pieces to be able to go and worship God.
But they do make really good reminders of all the different things that God does for us, that Jesus has done for us. It's just, it's all part of that really big kind of story that God tells throughout the whole Bible.
Yep. And the last sentence here says, when the people saw these things, they knew that God was living among them.
That is amazing. I bet the Israelites never forgot about how awesome God was again, right?
Well, the Israelites forgot a lot.
A lot?
Yeah, they were pretty sinful people. I know. But they always had these as reminders to go back to. So we want to remind you guys today to talk to God because he's with you. If you are a Christian and you have Jesus as a part of your life, you can talk to him anytime, anyway. He lives right inside you. And you don't have to go to a church building or go a special place or burn incense or any of that. Those are cool reminders, but you can talk to Jesus anytime, any place. So make sure you take time to talk with him today.
Because he loves us that much.
Yes, absolutely. So have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.